Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, today is September 19th, 2016. This is show number 149, and the name of the show is Lies, Lies, Lies. Now guys, you know the old saying, 3 lies and you're out, So anyway, we were gonna talk about Donald Trump and 3 lies. What's that? Oh, well, hold on, guys. What's that, Judy? It's 3 strikes and you're out? Judy, Judy thinks it's 3 strikes. Guys, that's old school. That's how it used to be. But now we're dealing with a new reality, and the new reality is called Trump. And guys, Trump, it's amazing what Trump's been able to do, and it's amazing how Trump lies for a living. And that's really what I wanted to name the show, Lies for a Living. But I figured we'd start off cute with the lies, lies, lies. But guys, that's all with Trump. That's what it's all about. That's all he does is lie. And today's show, guess what we're going to devote it to? How the deplorables, Uncle Joey, how the deplorables never question anything that Trump says. And guys, Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, I think is her name, she says that she can't support anybody who lies. So she's Trump's campaign manager, and she can't support anybody that lies. So Judy, let's have the first clip, please.
That I can't support somebody who lies for a living. I'm not going to be.
Lies for a living.
Yes, he does.
You just said you can't support somebody who lies for a living when I read a list of provable lies.
Guys, so we're going to play the clip where Bill Maher actually shows the lies, and he proves them, and she just sits there, and she just, I don't know what it is. I mean, how do you, after you prove somebody's lied, how do you reconcile this? I asked Uncle Joey. Uncle Joey, I love Uncle Joey. He's the only one that talks to me, Oh, I got knocked off of Facebook again, this time for a month. And you know why? Was the same guy that got me kicked off the last time. But anyway, so Uncle Joey, I asked Uncle Joey, I said, Joey, what about Trump and his lies? You know what he does? He goes, never mind Trump. He pushes back. What about Hillary? So I said, Joey, how has Hillary lied? And he puts up a whole documentary. And I said, Joey, when somebody changes their position, when they evolve, they are no longer lying. When Hillary said that she didn't endorse gay marriage, and 20 years later she changed her mind, that's not lying. That means you're making the adjustments. This is what the people want. You want to be with the people. Stronger together. Oh boy, I had to throw that in. But guys, the next clip is going to be a little longer edition from the same Bill Maher clip where he actually mentions the provable lies. And you guys will be familiar with all of these because they're provable. So Judy, let's prove what I'm saying. Clip 2, please.
You feel it. I think you're getting nervous.
Oh, I am getting nervous, but it's not because Trump is good. It's because people are stupid. That's why I'm getting nervous.
That's something Hillary would say. That's that's something that Hillary
I'll
would
tell
say.
you why I'm getting nervous, and I'll do it with a Donald Trump quote from The Art of the Deal. He said, "I play to people's fantasies. People want to believe that something is the biggest and the greatest and the most spectacular. I call it truthful hyperbole. I call it lying. Here are some lies. I don't know anything about David Duke. Utter lie. Vladimir Putin and I are best friends. He never met him. He got a letter from the NFL, which was proved never happened. He gave money to the veterans when he didn't. I was against the Iraq war when he plainly, it's on tape, said he was not." How do you answer to the fact that this man just says whatever he wants at the moment, in the moment, to get whatever point he wants across, regardless of the facts?
Well, no, I can't support somebody who lies for a living. I'm not going to be...
Lies for a living?
Yes, he does.
You just said you can't support somebody who lies for a living when I read a list of provable lies.
All right, so guys, someone who lies for a living. But did you catch the beginning, what Bill Maher said in the beginning? It's not Trump that's good. It's that people are so stupid. And guys, this is what it boils down to. They're not voting for what's good for them. They're voting for what they're against. Now, like, I asked one of my friends, I said, I asked Uncle Joey, I said, "Uncle Joey, what's more important? Equal pay for women or hating Hillary?" I asked Uncle Joey, what's more important? A college education for our kids or hating Hillary? Joe, what's more important? Equal pay for women, overtime pay, weekend premium pay, health care? What's more important, these things or hating Hillary? And guys, what's happening is a lot of people, a lot of the simple folk, that's what I call, because that's what you have to be. When you're so intent on being filled with hate and fear. The hate is what generates the fear. And when you get people to be afraid of something, guess what? You control them. You get them to think the way you do. You scare the shit out of them. And I mean, this is stuff that can't happen. But what happens? The Republican Party is just going berserk. And they'll put up with stuff like this. And why? Because Hillary wants to take your guns away. Guys, how many times have we heard this? Hillary wants to take your guns away. Judy, let's play a clip that proves this. So we got the next one, please.
Hillary Clinton wants to abolish the Second Amendment. She wants to abolish it. Okay. Hillary Clinton wants to take your guns away, and she wants to abolish the Second Amendment. She wants to take the bullets away. She wants to take it. You tell me that's something we can live with. We're going to cherish the Second Amendment. We're going to take care of the Second Amendment.
Guys, you heard it plain and clear. Hillary wants to take your guns away, right? She wants to take away the Second Amendment. Guys, what a lot of people don't realize, do you realize how hard it is to take away an amendment? Judy, we got a still coming up. Let's put this still up, still number 4, and let's show people how difficult it is to look at this, guys. Trump, this is from Hillary Clinton, wants to abolish the Second Amendment. And he said this at an NRA event on 5/20 of this year. The truth, repealing a constitutional amendment requires a 2/3 vote by Congress and ratification by 3/4 of the states. The president gets no vote. The Supreme Court cannot repeal. Trump is counting on you not knowing that. Judy, can you come back to me? So, Uncle Joey, from now on, and all the simple folk, when Hillary tells you, when somebody tells you Hillary's going to take your guns away, tell them, go scratch. You know better. You know the law. You have knowledge and science on your side. And guys, this is what it's all about. You get these simple folk that don't question anything. And if they did, they go, wait a minute, what, you mean Trump's trying to trick me? Yeah. Trump's a showman. He's a master. This is what he does for a living. And later on in the show, we're going to prove to you how he screwed over some other small businessmen. So I think this is going to be like the 10th small business we're going to show you that Trump screwed over. But guys, the next clip we're going to play is, and I tell you, this is the best one. And this is what Trump just went over this past Friday, is on Trump and birtherism. And, you know, this guy, how he had to beat this dead horse. And why? I don't know. I think he's a sick man. I mean, and when it came to man up, he couldn't even man up. But Judy, let's play clip number 5, and we're going to show you how many times Trump has used the birtherism excuse so that he can say that President Obama shouldn't have been the president. So, Judy, let's have clip number 5, please.
He could have been born in Kenya.
I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that
why
birth
not, I
certificate that he doesn't like.
I'm starting to wonder myself whether or not he was born in this country.
And if he wasn't born in this country, which is a real possibility, then he has pulled one of the great cons in the history of politics.
He could have been born in Kenya and gone over to the United States, and everybody wants to be a U.S. citizen.
No one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing?
Do you accept that what he produced is valid?
No, I don't necessarily
But do you
accept it.
believe he probably was born in America? No.
I say he might have been.
If the state of Hawaii says this is official, he was born in Hawaii on this date, here it is, why do you deny that?
A lot of people do not think it was an authentic certificate.
How can you say that if this...
You won't report it, Wolf. His mother was not in the hospital. There were many other things that came out.
Donald, you're beginning to sound a little ridiculous. I have to tell you.
I think you are, Wolf.
Who knows? Who knows? Who cares right now? We're talking about something else, okay? I mean, I have my own theory on Obama. Someday I'll write a book. I'll do another book. It'll do very successfully.
Donald Trump believes now that he was born in the United States.
He believes President Obama was born here.
President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period. Now we all want to get back to making America strong and great again.
Period. The end. Right? Wrong. You ain't getting off that cheap. We're not going to let you skate when you couldn't man up? You didn't have the balls to stand there in front of the camera and say, hey, it was all a joke. I made it up. I'm sorry. I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar. No. And did you notice how on one of the tweets, Trump had posted an extremely credible source? Guys, what's the one thing that we say on this show, just about every show? What are your sources? Be specific and cite your sources. And guys, you know, these guys, they don't care about their sources. They don't care about facts. They don't care about what's real. The only thing they care about is what's Republican. It's that simple. And guys, you know, Trump had the audacity to say that Hillary started the birther movement. Am I right or am I wrong? So, Judy, let's play the clip that confirms that Hillary, according to Trump, that Hillary started the birther movement. Number 6, please.
Now, not to mention her in the same breath, but Hillary Clinton and her campaign of 2008 started the birther controversy. I finished it. I finished it. You know what I mean. President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period. Now we all want to get back to making America strong and great again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
And that was it.
Doesn't it remind you of the playground? Hillary started it, so I finished it. Are you a grade school kid? I mean, but you know what? We're not going to let you get away with it. So what are we going to do? We're going to fact check you. And you know what? We'll just let the fact checking do the proof for us. So Judy, let's have clip number 7, please. Judy, there you go.
Hillary Clinton and her campaign of 2008 started. I finished it. You know what I mean? President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period.
So that's false, but you know what, guys? It doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter, all you have to do is say something. You blow that dog whistle, you say something, and then what happens? The simple folk, all they know is what they heard. So they heard that Hillary started the birther movement. That's all they need to know. You think they're going to look it up? Of course not. That involves work. Looking stuff up is a lot harder than listening to Fox News. But guys, the next clip we're going to play is from CBS, and it's from Major Garrett. And he went to cover this Trump event, and I want to tell you, he is pissed off. And the reason why is because he feels he's been taken. It's like everything else Trump does. Everything's in a showman fashion. And what did he want to do? He wanted to lure everybody to his new place of business, his new hotel, with the idea that he was going to give a speech on this birther movement. What did he do? He duped everybody. He drew them in, He brought them into the tent and he screwed everybody, as usual. As usual. But of course, he had some vets in there and he played it up with the vets, and he just takes advantage of everybody. And why? Because he's a huckster. This is what he does. He's a salesman. He's a Shylock. He screws people. And guys, we're going to show you Major Garrett, and he's not a happy camper. And I tell you, it's getting to the point where the media is getting tired of being duped by this shyster. So Judy, let's have number 8, please.
Chief White House correspondent Major Garrett, who was in attendance. And Major, simply your thoughts to that rather succinct end to this appearance by Donald Trump.
Hello? Well, that's good to know. This was a dog and pony show for the Trump Hotel. It was also an effort by the Trump campaign to burnish Trump's image among those in the veterans community and the national security community, some of whom gave testimonials to Trump beforehand. But this was all staged to bring more attention to this brand new hotel that Trump is opening here in Washington, D.C. This was a completely invented event for the purpose of dropping this one-sentence declaration that Trump could have given at any moment, at any time, even to the Washington Post just yesterday, about what he thought about the underlying validity of President Barack Obama's birth certificate. He didn't close this controversy until today. Why did he do it today? To promote his hotel. Donald Trump left this ballroom to take the traveling press pool on a tour of the hotel. This is not about ending any controversy. It's about creating commercial awareness of a new Trump property. So let's just call this what it is. An effort to do something on behalf of Donald Trump's commercial interests, not do anything to clarify an underlying issue in the presidential campaign, which, as the president said moments before, had long since been clarified. Trump did not close this issue in 2011, as his campaign suggested last night, because until today, he's never definitively said what he believes about President Obama's birth certificate or underlying records about the place of his birth. So he did so today. Okay, fine. But he did so today not for the purposes of actually silencing that controversy, which he knows as well as anyone else will last no matter what he says, because many of his supporters doubt the validity of President Obama's birth certificate, but to promote a hotel. So let's just be clear about what this was and what it wasn't. It wasn't a major address by a presidential nominee. It was a commercial.
Now, guys, that ended a little abruptly, but you got the idea. You know, Trump drew everybody in there as more or less a commercial promotion for his hotel. I mean, this guy is a huckster from the word go. And this is what makes me crazy. And you know what? In the next clip we're going to play, Trump comes right out and says, and I'm going to quote, "They kiss my ass." And it's so true. Why do they kiss his ass? Because he uses money. And money is all it takes. So, Judy, let's see what makes people kiss Trump's ass. Number 9, please.
When I want something, I get it. When I call, they kiss my ass. It's true. They kiss my ass.
When they call, I give. And you know what? When I need something from them 2 years later, 3 years later, I call them. They are there for me.
pay for play. You're not allowed to do it. It's illegal.
Lock her up. I love that.
What's happening right now with government favors, then the whole American system is threatened. It is a disgrace. This is a threat to the foundation of democracy. A threat. This is what happens in third world countries.
So the guy donates $25,000 to Pam Bondi, to her re-election campaign. and then he has the audacity to say that it's a bad thing to do. But wait a minute, guys, we're not done yet. Because, you know, one of the things that we love to do on this show is we love to follow the money. So the next clip, we're going to show you where the money leads. And I tell you, the more you know about Trump, the more you go, you got to be kidding me. But guys, me saying it and you seeing it are two different things. So Judy, let's follow the money. Clip 10, please.
You are watching MSNBC. We're talking Donald Trump. His campaign spending has changed quite a bit since he was self-funding it. And now the donors are funding the campaign. It appears much of the cash is flowing right back into Donald Trump's businesses. Joining me now is SV Date, senior political correspondent with the Huffington Post. SV, first, I want to talk Pam Bondi. Huffington Post is reporting that a fundraiser took place at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's Palm Beach resort, after Pam Bondi did not join a lawsuit over fraud allegations to Trump University.
That's right. The fundraiser was for her re-election campaign. It was held in the spring of 2014. Of course, this was already after his foundation had given her her committee that supported her $25,000 straight up on his own. The political alliance then went on after that. He held a fundraiser for her at his place in Palm Beach, which, by the way, he charges a lot more money for when his own campaign is using it, apparently.
I want to stay on how much money he charges his own campaign. You just did an investigation into where Trump's campaign dollars are going. Your report says that during the time when he was self-funding the primary, there was just one payment of $25,000 for a rally at the Trump golf course down in Miami. But since May, when Trump then had access to all those RNC dollars, there's been 6 payments of almost $700,000, and it's to Trump resorts, golf clubs, restaurants. Why this big difference? That's a big number.
Yeah, well, why the big difference? That's a question for the Trump campaign to answer, I guess. And I tried, and they never got back to me, even though they promised at first that they would. You're right. I mean, before outside money started coming into his campaign, he paid exactly one bill for one of his own resorts, and that was for $25,000. The very day that outside money, that deal was signed, he sent like more than $600,000 out to his own places, including $423,000 to Mar-a-Lago. All we can see in the public record out there is 2 victory parties, 1 news conference that were held there. They wouldn't tell me what other things he might have done, but at that price, that's kind of an expensive place to hold a victory party, apparently.
Mar-a-Lago is a very nice place, but he paid Mar-a-Lago $420,000. They could have had these events at a Marriott down the street for 10% of the cost. Did they not have to answer to that, to their donors? Do their donors know where this kind of big money is going?
Probably not. I don't know that. I mean, there have been some stories out there that have explained just how much money is going to the Trump entities, but I don't know that it's been broken down this specifically. That, like you say, $423,000 to Mar-a-Lago for 2 victory parties apparently and 1 news conference that could have been held off-site somewhere else for way, way less money. And in fact, that's what most campaigns do. Most campaigns.
Was that not the same thing? The Briarcliff Resort golf course in Westchester, he could have had his event there at a much cheaper place. I mean, campaign dollars don't come easy.
No, they don't, and the RNC is finding that. And I think August is going to be kind of a slow month for them, given with everyone on vacation. This money is not easy to come by, and to explain to donors how it went for resorts that cost 2 or 3 times as much or more in the case of Mar-a-Lago than alternatives that were available, well, that's something the Trump campaign is going to have to explain.
All right, SV, thanks for joining me today. We're going to take a...
So, guys, it's pretty simple. When it's other people's money, you could spend it on anything you want and as lavishly as you want. So instead of spending $45,000 in Florida at renting a regular place, they rented Trump's Key Largo thing for $423,000, 10 times the amount. And where does that money go? Back into Trump's pocket. But guys, I tell you, this is what a huckster, and the way Trump does business, and it's amazing that you'll get people that really don't care. Well, we don't care. We hate Hillary so much, we don't care what Trump does. Makes no difference to us. And guys, the next clip we're going to do is another clip of Trump screwing the small businessmen again. And what he does is he just comes up with these contracts. He gets the lion's share of the contract filled, and then he stiffs them. And he doesn't care. Hey, this is business. I'm making out, you ain't. I win, you lose. But guys, once again, we'll let the clip do the talking. And when you see this, and when you see how he hurts people, and he doesn't care. And then you got the simple folk like Uncle Joe who doesn't care what he does. So he screwed a couple of people. So what? So what? Could you imagine if that was you, Joe? Or Marty or Dave Straight? These guys don't care. They have no integrity whatsoever. So Judy, let's have clip number 11, please.
He put so many good contractors out of business.
I don't care if he's Donald Trump or Donald Duck. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and I have to stand up for myself.
Donald Trump had basically decided what subcontractors would work in Atlantic City and which ones would not.
They are the voices skeptical of Donald Trump and his promises of prosperity.
If you went against him, he simply put a list out and said these are bad guys and everybody else is a good guy.
And you guys were on that list?
We were on the list.
And did you ever get work in Atlantic City again?
Never.
But Donald Trump has framed much of his campaign on his stellar record as a businessman.
I'm running to give back to this country, which has been so very good to me. Jobs, jobs, jobs.
The 3 small business owners we just heard from say their contracts with Trump initially looked promising, but in the end, the deals turned disastrous.
It was one of those things, it's like, it's Donald Trump. What could go wrong?
Stephen Jenkins and his sister Beth Rosser are second-generation owners of Triad Building Specialties, a business built by their father Forrest. When Trump's Taj Mahal began construction, Triad won the bid to install every toilet partition inside the casino's bathrooms. It was the largest contract their family business had ever landed.
We bill $100,000, $150,000 a month. That's a really good month for us. And this was almost $300,000 in one contract. Everyone was, it was a big job. It was great.
But as Triad's workers wrapped up the project, talk started swirling that contractors weren't getting paid. When the Taj Mahal filed for bankruptcy in 1991, Triad was left with this $231,000 claim in court. They say they ended up with a payout of just $70,000.
It's hard for me to talk about it, but he wanted all four of us to work.
Jenkins gets emotional when he remembers how their father struggled to keep the business standing.
It was distraught. It was, you know, he's watching something that he built his whole life start to slip through his fingers.
A generous loan, they say, saved the Pennsylvania company.
He didn't go to a bank for the loan. He borrowed it off of a friend.
I respect a lot about him. I think he has the capacity to take the very complicated and simplify it, which I think is one of the hallmarks of a good CEO. So I think he has that ability. On the other hand, I also think that he is vindictive, nasty, and think that his words or actions have no repercussions.
Nat Hyman spent years in litigation with Trump. He respects Trump's shrewd business tactics, but harbors resentment at what it cost his startup costume jewelry business. Letters show Trump tried to cut short Hyman's kiosk lease inside Trump Tower in Manhattan, blaming the poor quality of the merchandise. Hyman sued Trump amid various lease disputes, and he says the real estate mogul's team buried him in legal paperwork and fees for years.
He was hoping that simply by sending me a letter and the force of being Donald Trump, that a 20-something-year-old would roll over and say, go ahead, you know, I'm not going to fight you, you're Donald Trump. He was wrong. I think I spent over $1 million in litigation with him. The bottom line was I would have been much happier, Jess, if he would have left me alone and simply left me to do my business. To him, it was sport, and to me, it was my life.
We will make it very, very good for our companies, for our small businesses, and for people that want to survive and do well in our country.
Paul Friel scoffs at Trump's words. The Philadelphia cabinetry company founded by his grandfather was forced to file for bankruptcy, he contends, because of Trump's retaliatory tactics.
We had already worked for 3 GCs, and every single one of them lived up to their word until Donald Trump came to Atlantic City. He was the first one that told a bunch of small contractors, I don't think I'm going to pay you any more money. And if you don't like it, you can sue me.
Friel says his father did try to recoup the $84,000 Trump owed the company for building bases to these Trump Plaza slot machines and the hotel's registration desks and bars. The elder Friel eventually gave up, but Trump seemed to hold a grudge. Friel says he believes his father's company was blocked from working on any future Atlantic City casino projects.
I think it surprised him the most that Donald Trump had blackballed him, even though we had an excellent name in Atlantic City. We had already worked in 4 of the first 4 casinos. That he had the ability to tell people, you don't want this company to work for you.
Now, Friel says he's speaking out to honor his dead father.
He would say, Paul, do this for us, because I was the one son involved in the business.
Donald Trump did not respond to our requests for comment about these small business owners, but he promised big, if not vague, things in Cleveland.
I have made billions of dollars in business-making deals. Now I'm going to make our country rich again.
He would say, Paul, do this. Let the country know what kind of man this is.
And you're doing that.
And I'm doing it.
Guys, can you imagine if Trump makes this country great again by bankrupting all the small businesses? I mean, is that what he wants to do? Is that how you want to run this country? By bankrupting small businessmen? What's wrong with this guy? He's evil. Like the one guy said. He goes, this was sport to Trump. You know, screwing somebody up and, you know, you don't like it, sue me. You know, I've got the lawyers, I've got the money, I've got the time, sue me. And this guy sued him. But I mean, it's just unbelievable. And then what's the other thing? What's the one thing that Trump always says he wants to do to benefit the country. He wants to repeal, dog whistle, Obamacare, doesn't he? Well, guys, that's all well and good. But what actually happens if we repeal Obamacare? What are the consequences? Judy, show us the consequences with number 12, please.
Republicans talk a lot about repealing Obamacare.
Repeal every word of Obamacare. Repeals Obamacare.
Obamacare is dead. It's going to be repealed. It's going to be replaced.
But what would that really mean? Well, some pretty unpopular stuff would go away, like the individual mandate to get health coverage and the fine if you don't. So would taxes on corporations and the wealthy, which pay for the law. But about 20 million people would end up uninsured. The Affordable Care Act's benefits for poor and middle-class families would just disappear. Insurance companies could once again deny coverage to people with pre-existing medical conditions. Without Obamacare rules, premiums for men and young people might go down, but women and older people would pay more. Insurers would be allowed to drop benefits like prescription drugs or maternity care. Plans might be cheaper, but they wouldn't pay for key services. Seniors would lose extra assistance for medication costs. Programs to make healthcare safer, less expensive, and more efficient would end just when we're seeing signs they might be working. You may have heard politicians say they'll keep Obamacare's popular provisions. It's not so easy. The ACA is all about trade-offs. In order to make sure people with health conditions can get insurance, it's necessary to make sure people who are healthier also buy policies, even if they aren't sure they need them. That's where the hated mandate comes in. Rescind Obamacare's taxes, and there's no money to help people who can't afford coverage. The stuff people hate about the law would go away, but so would the stuff they like, and that seems like a big mess.
Guys, when you start to realize all the things that you're going to lose if we go back to the old system, you know, with the pre-existing condition. Sorry, we can't give you insurance. You have a pre-existing condition. Or how about that we have another 20 million people uninsured? Premiums for women will probably go up. You know, some policies may be cheaper, but they won't cover as much. And guys, when are we going to get this through our thick heads? You know, we're the only advanced country in the world that doesn't offer health care as a right to its people. What's wrong with us? Why is this happening? It's all about the money. People don't want to pay their fair share. And this is what happens when you put profits before people. I mean, it just gets sick. And you're going to say, well, Rich, how does some of this get done? You know, what convinces some of these people to want to deal with Trump? Why would anybody want to be? Why would anybody want to support Trump? Well, guys, the next clip we're going to play is from a pastor, Pastor Burns. And Pastor Burns wants to be a big evangelical Trump supporter. But what happened is he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And he's a bigger liar than Trump is. So how do you get the evangelicals to vote for Trump? You lie to them. You deceive them. Lies, lies, lies. Why? Because they won't question anything. They'll never question it. But I want to tell you, they took this guy out to the woodshed. They smacked him around. They gave him the old bada bing, and he deserved it. And you know what? Since they did this clip, Pastor Burns doesn't exist anymore. He went bye-bye, just like we're going to make everybody go bye-bye that insists on lies, lies, lies. It's that simple. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. Really, you're a Christian that lies. Is that why you're reading your Bible? Is that where you get this from? So anyway, Guys, you're not going to believe this guy, Pastor Burns. But anyway, the proof is in the pudding. So, Judy, clip 13, please.
We need a warrior. We need a champion. We need a winner. And that is Donald.
He's the small-town preacher who's become a major surrogate for Donald Trump's campaign for president.
The last thing I want to do is to draw attention away from Mr. Trump's policy.
Pastor Mark Burns, a frequent cable news guest, a crowd favorite at Trump rallies, even a speaker at the Republican National Convention.
From the great state of South Carolina.
But before the campaign, he was virtually unknown.
I think Donald Trump is a great judge of character. You know, you would think he would just choose the greatest names, but Donald Trump values character more so than popularity or name. And I think that I fall in that category.
Pastor Burns' Harvest Praise and Worship Center in Easley, South Carolina is a small operation. The church, just a few folding chairs, tables, and cameras for his televangelism.
Help us to receive the wisdom of the Lord Jesus Christ.
After attending Trump's November meeting with black pastors in New York, Burns says former campaign manager Corey Lewandowski asked him to speak on Trump's behalf at Bob Jones University. He's been a favorite of the campaign ever since.
He just came out of the blue.
Virginia Beach Navy veteran Damon Davis says he's a Republican, but had never heard of the fiery Southern pastor. Neither had his friends.
So they looked him up, and he had web pages up, and they saw one of the claims was that he was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi.
Davis, who is a member of the predominantly African-American fraternity, says he first saw the claim in Pastor Burns' bio on his church's website. Davis says he captured this screen grab in July, just days after Burns spoke at the RNC. Then he started investigating.
And what did you find? There is no person named Mark Burns, John Mark Burns, or any variation thereof in the fraternity ever.
Davis says he contacted Pastor Burns. Soon after, Davis says the webpage disappeared. Well, CNN called Kappa headquarters too. They have no record of him. So when we sat down with Burns, we asked about that.
I did, without question, say that I had crossed, and I'm not crossed, but I had started the process of being a part of that organization. But that's the furthest that I've gotten.
Is that the bio from your website?
It is, but it is not the, it is the bio, but this is not an accurate depiction of the bio. I mean, information has obviously been added. I mean, I own up to any mistakes that I've made, like I did with my tweet, but obviously in this case, that's not.
So this is not from your page?
No, this is from my page, but what I'm saying is, obviously this has been manipulated or either hacked or added.
CNN asked the site's host, Wix, about the possibility that someone could have tampered with the church's website. The company tells CNN there is no evidence of a hack. And CNN obtained the pastor's full bio from the church's website through an internet archive.
You also claimed that you served 6 years in the Army Reserves. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we called the Army, and they said that you had no active Army or Army Reserve service.
No, I wasn't part of the South Carolina National Guard.
Okay, I just asked you about Army Reserves. That was my question. You, in this bio, claimed 6 years in the Army Reserves.
Which is, it is reserves. It is the Army of South Carolina National Guard is reserves.
In a statement to CNN, the U.S. Army says Burns served in the South Carolina National Guard from 2001 to 2005, was discharged in 2008. He has no active Army or Army Reserve service time.
Did you attend North Greenville University?
I did attend North Greenville University.
Did you graduate from North Greenville University?
No, I didn't complete the degree at North Greenville University.
In fact, the university tells CNN he was here one semester.
Again, the bio that's on your website claims that you earned a Bachelor of Science degree. Did you make that claim?
I asked you just a moment ago as we were just opening up this, and first of all, I said that we were off the record.
I didn't agree to that.
Yeah, but I did.
We're still rolling. I'm still asking you questions on the record. Did you make that claim that you graduated from North Greenville University?
Because I think this is not fair that this is not fair at all. This is not what I agreed to. I thought we were doing a profile, and all of a sudden you're here to try to destroy my character.
I'm not coming here to destroy your character. These are claims that were made on your website that was live
while you were speaking at the Republican National Convention. My question is, are those claims accurate?
I understand this is what media does, and I understand that when you find someone that is speaking out their heart and speaking out their desire to bring people together and to get past the political correctness of society, that the job of that of investigative journalism, or in this case, is to try to destroy the character of the individual so their voice is silenced. What I'm saying is this: in reference to my website, if there's inaccurate information on there that can easily be manipulated by other people, and it can be manipulated by hackers. People can do and say and do and create whatever they want to create.
Again, the website's host says there is no evidence of a hack.
I don't feel comfortable at all. This is not...
You also claim to be studying at the Anderson Theological Seminary.
Yes, I did.
Currently working on his Master of Theology and Pastoral Leadership, according to the church's website. We called them, you're not enrolled there, and you enrolled in 2008 and never advanced.
Right, but you know how old this is? This has been updated. I think there's an updated profile on me that's on the website.
So is it old or is it tampered?
These are old information. This is extremely old information.
Seconds later.
This is thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming. You just take this.
Pastor Burns walked out, leaving us in his church. He walked out of the building, got into his van, and drove off. That interview was on Wednesday. Late yesterday, in response to our story, Pastor Mark Burns released this statement taking responsibility for those misstatements. As a young man, he writes, starting my church in Greenville, South Carolina, I overstated several details of my biography because I was worried I wouldn't be taken seriously as a new pastor. This was wrong. I wasn't truthful then, and I have to take full responsibility for my actions. Since that time, I should have taken steps to correct any misrepresentations of my background. We all make mistakes, and I hope that the measure of my character and the quality of my works speak for what kind of person I am. He goes on to say this: I do also want to set the record straight about why this attack is happening. Because I am a black man supporting Donald Trump for president. For too long, African-American votes have been taken for granted by Democratic politicians, and enough is enough. It's a shame that the political insiders and the media choose to attack me because I'm not going to stay silent about Hillary Clinton's pandering to our community. Instead, I'm going to tell people that there is another option, an option that represents a positive vision that will unify our country. That's why I have and will continue to tirelessly support Mr. Trump.
Guys, you see that? He says he's being attacked because he's a black man that supports Trump. No, the reason why you're being attacked is because you're a lying sack of shit. It's that simple. If you told the truth, we wouldn't be talking about this. And this guy gave a speech at the Republican National Convention. What would Christ have to say about this? Do you think if there was a Jesus, he would put up with this? Do you think? But guys, wait a minute. Sometimes it's not fair to pick on the Jesus freaks, but I want to tell you, some of these people are Looney Tunes. And, that's the only thing I can say. And the first, we're going to show you some Trump supporters that are Christians. But the first guy that we're going to show you is from Liberty University. Liberty University, where in one of their lobbies, they have a Sanskrit of a man's footprint and a dinosaur's footprint, proving that men and dinosaurs lived at the same time. Guys, it's the truth. You can look it up. And this is Liberty University. This is Jerry Falwell, where they teach people to be good Christians. I wonder if they teach them how to be good liars. But Judy, let's see what these good Christians have to say with clip number 14, please.
I'm definitely really excited for Trump. I'm from Liberty University, so I really stand by biblical values, so I'm really hoping that Trump will speak about that and how he promised to stand by those.
As far as his values and morals go, we're all a little bit iffy about it because, you know, he said some things that are kind of on the line, and he is technically a conservative, but he says things that a lot of times we don't agree with. So I'm interested to see what he has to say today to all of us who are all, you know, very much conservative.
Lots of people have brought up the fact that he hasn't always displayed Christian values in his life. He's on his third wife. He's boasted about the number of women he's had sex with. He's talked about them as objects. Are those Christian values?
I mean, I feel like that's obvious. It's not.
By the Bible, no. They're not Christian values.
His boasting about his buildings, about his wealth, about the women he's been with, does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me, but I know that it would not be Christ-like to boast.
To a Christian crowd, I think it gives them an opportunity to see somebody who has made bad choices, but he doesn't try to hide it. Right. But he's admitted it and he moves forward. And I think that's one of the big things that, at least for me, is that I may not agree with his lifestyle, but I know that he's not going to argue about, you know, the definition of is, or I didn't have relations with that woman or whatever. He's not making those statements like, this is who I am, I made these mistakes, either like me or hate me, and I appreciate the honesty.
I do believe that we're seeing a change in his character in his latter years. He is not the same person as I am not the same person I was 10 or 20 years ago.
And has he convinced you that he's really Christian or believes in Christian values?
I think that, no, not yet.
Does he still need to convince you that he's really a Christian?
Yeah, he does.
I don't really need my presidential candidate to convince me that he or she is a Christian. I think that there's a big basis for that, and I think that's why Ted Cruz and Ben Carson got so many supporters, especially early on. But with this election, I know who Hillary Clinton is, and so I'm not going to vote for her.
There you have the last girl. I'm not going to vote for Hillary. No, I'm not going to vote for Hillary. I don't care about any of the good things that Hillary wants to do. I'm just not going to vote for her. Why? Because I'm one of the brainwashed simple folk. Right, Uncle Joey? 45 seconds left, that's it? Holy mackerel. I thought we were going to have enough time for another clip. But anyway, guys, you know, what's the story with Trump? Why does he have to be the way he has to be? I think the guy's sick in the head. I think he's got mental problems, and I'll tell you, I think he's bankrupt. And you know what? Why hasn't he shown us his tax returns? What's he hiding? And guys, don't forget, next week is going to be the debate, and we're really going to have some fun. So we'll get next week's show ready for the debate, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Toodles, take care.